You know, you guys are doing a great thing. It's such an uncomfortable topic to talk about, especially for a guy, you know, young guys in their early 20s. And, I'm glad that, I could tune in and, listen to you guys.
Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey guys, welcome to the live broadcast, a live stream. That's what we call it now these days. When we do the show, it's a stream. It's no longer a broadcast. It's no longer a show. It's no longer on the radio. It's even calling it a show is weird because no one calls their podcast, and this isn't even a podcast, but their stream, they don't call it a show.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. It's like, because podcasts by definition, or at least the original definition, was faceless, no video. It's just, podcasting through like the digital equivalent of radio.
Right.
But for a short segment where it would be a show. But then what we're doing is more considered to be live streaming, but it doesn't really touch on the podcasting aspect of it. Like you can live stream to do anything.
Right.
But this is a podcast format with video.
What I understand is the iPod has been extinct for 10 years or more.
No, actually it's been, I think as of just a few years ago, they actually stopped making it. They were making like a modern version of it looked like an iPhone up until maybe 5 years ago.
That's just stupid.
I think something like that. It is stupid. Why would and there was nothing different as far as like the audio quality.
Yeah.
There's nothing special they did to it above and beyond what we have in our iPhone. So it was kind of a strange and I'll say bad business decision to keep it on as long as they did. But
well, I'll tell you a bad decision. Many years ago, Andrew Zeri and I started an organization, and it was the what was it called? It may have been called the International Alliance of. No, it wasn't the Alliance. It was called the. I can't remember it. Anyway, long story short, I'm like, listen, dude. What we do is online broadcasting. It's internet broadcasting. Why do you want? I mean, this podcasting stuff. No one's going to be using that in 5 years.
Yeah.
Man, was I wrong. Anyway,
good stuff.
Phone number 888-659-3727. That is our toll-free number, and this is the Hair Loss Show. We are here to talk about anything and everything hair loss. For those of you who continue to ask me if I'm wearing the same shirt, this one is gray, so you can all go F yourselves.
It's just the lighting.
Yeah, but what I do, listen, if you were to come over to my place and open my closet, you would think either I have severe OCD or I'm a serial killer. Because a woman once said that to me when she opened my closet, because I have my blue shirts, my white shirts, and then whatever else, but basically all the same style. And I have my workout clothes.
You're basically Dexter.
And that's basically it. Now, I think women find there's something sexy about it to them because I don't spend a lot of time. I mean, I spend a lot of time on my hair, but not a lot of time on figuring out what I'm going to wear. So as far as getting out of the house, I'm pretty fast because I don't have to worry about picking out my clothes. It's all spent in the bathroom trying to camouflage this ridiculous situation I have going on here. But by the time they're dressed, the sculpture's done. And they're like, Jesus, you're always ready.
Well, that's women like that because they take forever and a day to get ready, but once they're ready, they don't want to have to wait for anyone. It's like, can we go? As if they didn't take 3 hours,
Dude, I just had a hour-long conversation with a buddy of mine, and guys, we'll take your calls in a second, who I grew up with. I've known him since I was 10 years old. Just talking about life and the reality of marriage and long-term relationships and all that stuff. And I was like, dude, we should do a fucking podcast. Speaking of podcasts, because it's hilarious. These young guys have no clue of the reality. And listen, girls, I'm all in. Listen, I had incredible relationships. incredible relationships. To this day, you know, common law is the co-author of my life. That's just the way that it is. But it's not what you think it is, people. That's all I'm saying. Kids out there that are looking for that soulmate, I wish you the best of luck. Phone number 888-659-3727. All I'm saying is it's not an easy ride. It's very possible, but it's not an easy situation.
Speak for yourself.
I do think it would be easier to be can you say gay today? You're allowed to say gay?
Well, you can.
Yeah. I do think it would be easier to marry a man, probably, because at least you're two dudes hanging out together. You know, you want to watch the same shows. You know?
You might like the same beer.
Yeah, it makes it, you know, it's like, all right, once the sex
because
is done.
Beer is beer.
Once the sex is done,
care.
You're hanging out with a dude.
You're not looking to cuddle.
You know?
Or maybe you are. I don't know.
Well, you don't have to worry about meeting, you know, people, you know, and their family for brunch and all that shit. It's just another dude you're hanging out with.
Talking about pesto.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Anyway, we got an interesting. I think we got an interesting subject for the day.
We do. I just want to let you know because you can't see the calls. We do have some calls on the line, but talk about what we're going to talk about, and then we'll take a call.
Well, before I do, I want to clarify last week's show about the hair transplant patient that got arrested on a flight for basically being a douchebag. I didn't realize that he had had surgery that day. And last week's show, I was thinking, well, at least a day after surgery, I don't see a problem with it. The day of surgery is ridiculously bad. Ridiculously bad. So if you watch last week's show and you think that I'm pro flying out from the clinic city the same day, no, I'm not. That's the last thing you should do. You need to go back to your hotel or wherever you're staying and get a good night's rest, let everything dry up and start to heal, and then you're good.
But Joseph,
so I want to clarify that.
He had a note from his doctor.
Doesn't matter. The doctor's an idiot. You don't fly out the same day. Full stop.
I know it doesn't matter. It was my attempt at being sarcastic.
And it was a good attempt,
yeah.
Spencer. Good job. Good job there, buddy. But today's show, I think is, or today's subject matter, I think is a bit more universal as far as how it affects people. Because this guy, Pavel Durov, he's the inventor of Telegram. And it's Sergey in the chat room was saying it's not controversial. It's just freedom of speech or something like that. Whatever. I get it. No, to me, it's not controversial. I think it's a great platform. I think this guy he's a cool dude, and good for him for doing things the way that he did. But, you know, you look at his situation right now. He's in the news, or has been for the past week, because he was arrested in France for no one really knows why, other than not cooperating with requests by the French government for to be able to look in the back door of your own messages. This isn't a political thing. Just there you go. But his photos have been in the papers a lot, the virtual papers, the internets, the interwebs. And I've never really had a good look at this guy. But what I saw is apparently what a lot of other people saw too, because I started seeing mentions about his hair, even on Hair Loss Cure 2020. American Hair Loss Association trusted content creator, hairlosscure2020.com, he's got an article about it, talking about this guy's hair. And I started digging into it, and the question has been, well, is it a hair transplant, or is it a hair system? Is it a piece? Is he wearing hair? And I'm going to show you guys some photos. Starting with this right here. So this is before anything controversial. This is, I think it was well before even Telegram. You can see the guy's hair loss. not even a Norwood 3A. That forelock on the front is disintegrating, is turning into a
And he was still getting
4A.
laid.
And he was still getting laid, apparently. This is apparently his wife at one point. Good-looking young lady.
Yeah.
But the hair loss is very definite. But then we switch over to something that's completely different. Check this out.
Yeah, he looks like, at least in that picture, it was a bad choice initially.
It was an early, understandably naive decision for a hair system, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Here's a better shot. I think it's a better system because it's a little bit longer in the front and it's coming down. You'll start to see a pattern here. This compared to all the other photos afterwards of him, the hairline itself is not quite visible, but it obviously looks like it's a very full head of hair, but with a fairly high hairline. But then we start to see another progression. So this is the guy now. Apparently, he may have had some plastic surgery. Who knows? He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, he's a handsome
I don't think
kid.
that can be. Yeah, handsome kid. Handsome. I don't know how old he is, but you can see that hairline. In that you can't see that hairline. This is the tell on a lot of the really good hair systems out there, in that they're not actually that good, because you have to do this. You have to do this little frizzy, a few hairs hanging off in the front to hide the exit point of your quote unquote hair, because it's not real and it's not a great job.
Well, I can tell you, I was just looking at from the image. He looks like he's wearing a super thin, maybe 0.3 to 0.5 millimeter polyurethane base with V-looped hair. But the problem with the V-looping that I can see is that they V-looped it vertically as opposed to horizontally. Yeah. So that's why it almost has that up and down thing. He's not purposely trying to make, I'm looking at the hairs in the front, make those front hairs look vertical and coming down, that frizziness. It's unfortunately the way that some of these pieces just lay naturally once the polyurethane's on your skin. So he's not doing anything to style. He's trying to style it straight back, but it's not working as well.
So hairspray, like I honestly don't know. Hairspray or gel or something wouldn't hold it in place if you wanted to actually have it slick back?
Not if the piece was made with a frontal hairline that is all ventilated vertically. That's the problem with these things. So I'm looking at it now, but it's pretty good. I mean, I would say that the average person could not tell.
I would agree with that. The average person wouldn't be able to tell. And this is what he actually wants. He wants this look. And I found this image. This is one of those animated versions of an existing photo.
Is that Andrew Zarian?
But it looks like Andrew Zarian. But his eyebrows aren't as strong as Zarian's.
Yeah.
His hairline is like Zarian's.
Fucking Zarian's a good-looking kid.
That. He is, of course. Yeah. But you look at, like, this is the ideal that he wants. Like, look at that hairline. Like, you can see, obviously, for if you're just tuning in, yes, I know this isn't a lifelike photo. This is animated, but this is what his ideal is, and you can see, the individual hairs coming out. You can see them exiting the scalp. There's none of that little fine hair stuff, kind of hiding everything, so you can't really see what's going on. But then here's another shot. You can see. It's a strange messiness in that hairline. But then you can also
here's what's interesting. If you were not you, for anybody who did not know this guy was bald before, even the way that he has it cut around the temple area, at least in that image, in that angle, most people would not know.
I agree. And that's... that's being beside the point. The fact is, a lot of people are asking, and so we're breaking it down as to why this is a hair system. Yeah, it looks good. I'm not questioning that. I'm not even criticizing the guy. Congratulations to him. As far as I'm concerned, what he's doing validates everything that we've been fucking saying for the past 10 years.
Yeah. This is a guy that
hair can be a great option.
But this is a guy who could afford to do anything. Anything. And he probably assessed that he's not the best candidate. That's a bad move, what's going on right there. But he probably assessed that he's not the best candidate, may have had consults with honest physicians, and decided to just make it happen as best as he can. Now, the problem with these pieces, I don't know where he's getting them, is the inconsistency of them. They're all basically made by hand, essentially. The molds aren't, or whatever. They're all made in China. They're all made by hand. So every system is slightly different. He has the ability to have his own fucking machine in his, wherever he is. I don't think he owns a house, does he? But he could have his own little factory that can make his own pieces specifically for him.
100%.
And when he calls
100%.
me after this, after he sees this show, I'll tell him.
Or me.
I'm just kidding.
He might call me.
He might.
But here's something else to look at. You look at the sides of his hair in this photo. You can see the sideburns. They're lifting off of the skin. They got some length to them, and they're lifting off the skin. And the temple points really nicely curved. And then you look at what he used to look like.
Interesting.
I honestly think that this is a
Combo?
full wig system where it's covering the sides as well.
Really?
Because look how you look how long that hair is on the side.
Yeah.
But then it's still short.
That's interesting.
It's
possible.
You see what I'm saying?
That's got to be hot
I
as
think
hell, though.
Exactly. This is a helmet system, as far as I'm concerned. And there were several more.
I think he's still under 40.
There's several more
though,
I saw
isn't
out there. I don't know. He could be pulling what's his name, Brian Jones, or whatever his name is.
Brian Johnson.
Johnson, the longevity stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If he is, it's working for him. But anyway, my point is that I don't care if it's a hair system. I wanted to kind of break this down to show that it can be a good thing. Because this guy, I mean, with hair, he looks better than those pre-hair shots where it's thin and wispy, and he's not really in his element yet.
Yeah.
He looks good, and I think it reinforces. Like I said, it reinforces what we've been talking about. Where
I'm either having cardiac arrest or I'm having some heartburn. I'm going to go get some water. I'll be right back. Finish your thought.
Okay, do that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people it still has a stigma as far as what people think when people bring up hair systems or pieces or wearing hair. And don't forget, guys, women have been doing this for decades and decades, as long as they've been trying to attract us. Some sort of wig or some sort of extension or whatever. But if we wear something like this, we're the laughing stock, and I don't think that's right. I think this is a great thing. I'm glad that we're able to talk about this because it's nice to see some sort of example of great looking hair systems. I'll be honest with you. I think it could be better. I think there are better ones out there. Just because he's really, really wealthy doesn't mean that he's got the best idea of what looks really good. I think there are better systems out there than what he's doing. And like Spencer was saying, there is a consistency issue that's lacking as far as what we're seeing with this. If he could stick to just one really good system and have that one replicated over and over, then it would be a lot more convincing. And maybe he'll wind up doing that at some point. I don't know.
I still
Hopefully
think
he will.
that at least on camera, it's not something that's really been heavily talked about before he got arrested. In my view, I don't know.
Yeah. No, A lot of people didn't even know who he was before he got arrested. Like he's in the news now more than he's been probably in a very long time.
But I'm just wondering. I guess the French may be a little bit more sophisticated when they bring you to jail. They don't take a mugshot without the piece on.
Exactly. Yeah, it could be.
I think that's what's great. What's great about Donald Trump's mugshot is everyone knows he's not wearing a piece because they would have taken that shit off.
They would have taken that shit off. No question.
Yeah.
That'd be the most famous mugshot in history.
100%.
More so than it is now.
More famous than Elvis's mugshot, Frank Sinatra's,
Bill Gates, Matthew McConaughey. All right.
That's right. 888-659-3727. We do have some phone calls. Yeah, I mean, but it definitely shows that at least he's smart enough to understand that this is a guy who would have, if he had multiple surgeries that he could have afforded, he would have been wearing hair anyway. He never would have been satisfied with the outcome, and in the end result, even if it looked good for a while, it wouldn't have lasted him.
Agreed.
Rob Hellner always has the nice comments. Isn't Rob like a 50-year-old man?
I don't know how old Rob is. Rob, how old are you? He's going for his 11th hair transplant, I think. Or 12th, or maybe it's the 37th. I'm not sure. He's 58.
He really?
He's 58.
Dude, he when you see him post on comment online, it's like he's a 14-year-old. It's like a 14-year-old boy.
That's a good thing.
It is, absolutely, dude. He makes me makes me laugh.
You are wrong, Rob, about the that's a William Shatner wig. William Shatner's wigs are the best in the business.
William Shatner's unbelievable. Yeah.
They are unbelievable. They are the best.
I mean,
They're so much better than Pavel's.
He surpassed. I mean, Burt Reynolds, let him rest in peace. He really struggled. He really struggled.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure why. I know that he had really recessed temporal points, but Shatner did the entire, the entire helmet. But the way that it was. For a while, when he was younger, it was a little bit of a struggle. But in the 80s and 90s, no one really understood it, so they weren't really looking for it.
Yeah.
But as he got older and what he's wearing now, it's unbelievable, man.
Was it T.J. Hooker days?
Yeah. T.J. Hooker, I think him and Burt Reynolds may have been kind of like sharing their units. I never forget when my mother found out that Burt Reynolds was wearing a piece, she was fucking mortified.
Yeah.
I think that's what stigmatized it for me in my mind. Like, when I started to go bald, I'm like, even my mother was fucked up by that?
I stand on record that Robert Conrad had the best one going because it was simple, it was flat, and didn't have to worry about the hairline.
I have to tell you, for a while, I thought Sinatra did a pretty good job. It was
pretty good,
it was
too.
like a hair frisbee.
I like that. Hair frisbee.
All right, guys.
It worked.
Phone number, 888-659-3727. And you know what's funny? You still have to be lighthearted about it. I don't like, guys are mortified. They don't want to wear hair. They don't want to be made fun of because of the way that society looks at guys or it has portrayed guys wearing hair over the years. But the truth is, if William Shatner wasn't William Shatner, you saw this old guy walking around right now, you'd be like, that guy's got some head of hair.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a call. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from? And by the way, it wasn't a heart attack. Hey, caller.
Good.
This is Aaron from Texas.
Aaron from Texas.
Aaron.
What's happening, brother?
How's it going, buddy?
What's going on, y'all?
Y'all.
Well, I want to say thanks for taking my call, and that I want to start by saying I really appreciate what y'all do. You've saved me from making some big mistakes, so thanks for that.
Well, I'm so happy that you were
Thanks
able
for
to find
telling
us because not a lot of people are finding us. For whatever reason, we got to figure that out. But yeah, no, I really appreciate the fact that you're calling in, and I'm glad we're able to help. What can we do for you today?
I have 3 questions. First one is, when comparing the efficacy of oral versus topical finasteride, is there any evidence suggesting that one is superior to the other?
Yes.
And what
What do you think? What do you think?
I would think it would be oral, but I'm curious.
Yeah,
what you guys.
100%. There's no comparison in my view. No matter what people tell you, you can see some really good initial results using topical finasteride. The problem is compliance. The problem is, how much are you getting all over? How much of the scalp are you actually hitting with these topicals, and how deep are these topicals able to penetrate through the stratum corneum? Obviously, they're using vehicles to help them penetrate, but depending on how deep they penetrate, or how much can penetrate through your skin, there's going to be some systemic issues as well. But you're definitely not going to get the same effect, in my view, and according to every doctor that I've spoken to, as taking oral. I mean, you're suppressing your DHT levels by up to 70% internally, systemically. I mean, it's just a more effective way to suppress DHT.
Okay. Right. That helps me. So I did switch to oral, and topical, and I've noticed a significant amount of diffuse thinning. So I was like, all right, maybe.
Well, let me ask you this: what made you switch? Were you having side effects, or you were just concerned about the future?
I had some stomach issues, so I wanted to try getting off of it and see if it was, something, maybe one of the excipients in the medication that was causing me some gut issues. But I've been on topical for a while now, and my stomach hasn't gotten any better, so I think it's safe to say it's not the finasteride.
Okay.
I had to check that box.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's smart. It's smart. And the fact that you weren't having any adverse effects from whatever oral you were taking means you'll probably do fine if you get back on it. I mean, you have to talk to your doctor.
Right.
But yeah, I've known guys who switched.
You guys are, you always say how you guys are doctors. So that's why I'm calling you all.
That was good. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I know guys and I know companies that are selling topicals, and I know one in particular that's doing a really good job, very consistent results. However, I don't think there's a physician alive who's going to tell you that, the topicals are as effective as taking the pill. Maybe there
I bet there are. I was waiting to jump in because it's like, if you're talking to a doctor that tells you the topical is better than oral, the next question out of your mouth should be, well, what topical do you sell?
Yeah, what product are you selling?
Yeah, or do you make?
Because there's nothing wrong with selling a topical. It's great.
No, of course not.
It's great to have. It's great to have that.
It's a great alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's not fool ourselves. The only reason why topical exists is because of the people that were talking about sexual side effects or any side effects from oral finasteride. Opportunity rings, man. That people saw the opportunity. It's like, well, let's see if we can make a topical.
I remember when the first doctor called me. Yeah, go ahead.
I was there when one doctor who has a growing brand actually came up with the idea of coming up with his own topical.
Yeah,
I know how this works. I was there.
I was there when another doctor called me up and said, "What do you think about everyone's so shit scared of using oral? What would you think about promoting a topical if I started to put something together?" I'm like, "Look, if it works, it's going to sell. Everyone's going to jump on it because people are so frightened to take this medication." So really, that's the only reason it was developed.
Okay. That helps me out. So the next question is, Spence, I know you've mentioned numerous times that you use the brand name Finasteride.
I do. I use Proscar.
Right. Okay, so you chop. That's what I was going to ask. If you chop or you take the Propecia.
Well, no, I take Proscar. I take the full tablet. But now I take it about almost twice a week, like every fourth day.
If you take the full 5 milligrams every 4th day?
I do.
Okay. Okay, because I was trying to decide if I was better off chopping that ProScar.
I mean, I'm dead from the waist down, but my hair looks pretty good, so.
That's all that matters.
No, I mean, I've been doing intermittent therapy for a couple of decades. I have no issue, or that I'm aware of, with a 5 milligram dose.
Okay. I will throw this out there, maybe for your listeners. I think GoodRx, something happened, because I know that Propecia used to be extremely expensive. It was like, if you wanted the brand name, it was like $180 or $200 per month. GoodRx has some kind of coupon, and it ends up being like $50 or $60 a month if you want the brand name 1 milligram a day Propecia.
Really?
Instead of getting the 5 milligram. Yeah, I mean, that was like a month ago I saw that. I was like, holy crap, I might switch just so I don't have to chop. And that was, you had to pay that out of pocket, but it was through GoodRx, so anywhere that accepts those coupons. Yeah, it's still valid.
That's actually some great intel, actually.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
So, I mean, essentially, that's not much more expensive than some of these subscription services are selling it for.
Right, exactly. And you get brand name. So that's for 30 pills of 30 tablets of Propecia.
You know what's interesting about GoodRx? So somehow the pharmaceutical company, Merck's offshoot, is subsidizing that. So they must be like, fuck it. These telehealth companies are killing us. We might as well provide the real deal somehow and do it through GoodRx. That's actually really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Maybe we'll write about that through the American Hair Loss Association. We'll look into it.
Yeah. The last thing, this one, I was just curious more than anything. You hear a lot of people or on forums talking about topical dutasteride.
Yeah.
Do you guys, do you have any opinions about that? I've heard some stuff saying that it doesn't penetrate deep enough due to the molecule size, but I'm
these
just
people,
parroting what I
Christ,
read.
Man, these people, it's unbelievable what people write on the internet. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Well,
you're more familiar with it because you've tried it yourself, I think, right?
Yeah, well, not topical.
Okay.
I didn't try topical dutasteride, but there is actual legitimacy to that, where the molecular size of dutasteride, I forgot what it was, but there was a challenge with figuring out how to get that into a state that it's absorbable through the skin tissue.
Through the
I don't remember,
but they did figure it out.
Yeah, stratus corneum. I don't remember. God, I wish I knew this question was coming because I need to review things. But there are, I don't remember how they say they do it, but there are claims that this has been overcome. I don't know how, but that is actually a legitimate piece of information because it's true.
Well, here's the thing. I jumped on the forum, guys. I apologize. So I guess it is true, but I have heard that the one company in particular, who I don't know if I saw it on a podcast or some video was sent to me. But one company in particular was talking about how they overcame that, and I think all the products that are being sold now are relatively effective. So now, why would you get on topical dutasteride as opposed to getting back on finasteride? Or I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm not sure if that's what you're considering, but.
Yeah, I'm not considering that. I was just curious, staying with the topical and, maybe possibly it reduces systemic side effects, whether that's true or not. I don't know. I know they go systemic. So
yeah, you've had no side effects, though, at least according to what you've expressed here on the show. Yeah.
I mean, I do get a little bit less of a sex drive when I'm on oral finasteride. I mean, I can still perform, but, when I got off of it, I did get off of it for about a month or two. It was a month or two, and I wasn't on anything. And, yeah, my sex drive just skyrocketed. So, I mean, it does temper it. I'm still able to do what I need to do, but being on finasteride does cool me off, So, and now I'm 40, and so it's nice to have it, a little more revved up. But
well, that's true. But it also gives you more time to actually get shit done.
It's true. It does help the, keep the mind not wandering all day. So there is that.
Yeah. For whatever reason, that was never the case with me. But I know that's very real. Maybe it was. Maybe I wouldn't be able to work if I wasn't on finasteride. I'd be like a monkey in the zoo. You know what I'm saying, Joe? Anyway.
Would be?
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, listen. Go ahead. You have another question?
Well, I just want to circle back and ask you, just touch on one other thing. Why do you take just the full pill on your ProStar?
When I started about 30 years ago, that's all that was available to me. No one was talking about cutting the pills in quarters. They weren't talking about what dosage that they were testing at the time. It was just that finasteride or ProScar was having this interesting side effect where guys saw a cessation of their hair loss, older men, and they were regrowing hair. So Merck at the time was going to test this drug for androgenetic alopecia. I read that article and I jumped on the drug. So the doctor who prescribed it to me didn't say, hey, take 1 milligram. So when I started, I was taking 5 milligrams every day. So
that's all he knew.
That's all that was available, and that's all we knew. So to answer your question, I kind of felt once I titrated and I wanted to kind of play with the dose to see if I can have less in my body for the long term so that if I needed to increase my dosage, if things started to slide over time, that I would be able to increase my dosage. When I did that, I just decided I'm not going to waste my time splitting pills. I'll just take the entire dose. I don't have any adverse side effects, and I'll just skip days. And for me, that's how it's worked over the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So there's no science behind it, and there was at the time there was really no science behind anyone who jumped on finasteride except for, we knew that DHT was affecting hair cycles. And we also knew that lowering DHT, at least from those who were taking these prostate medications, seemed to slow it down for people. That's all they knew. And I would say when I started the medication, I don't even know how many people could have been trying it themselves, but no one that I knew of, and it wasn't being written about.
Gotcha.
So, anyway, brother, any more questions?
Nope. I appreciate all the help.
Okay, man. Good luck. Let us know how you do.
All right, y'all. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
888-659-3727. So it's kind of like, in my case, it's kind of like, well, how did you know how to, make the wheel round? I really didn't know. It just was round, and it worked.
You just took the pill as it came.
Yeah, so I decided not to try to make it square and see if I could improve upon it. 888-659-3727. Hey, who's this? Where are you calling from? Hey, man, you're on the air. Your phone is breaking up. Can't hear you, brother. Nope. You sound a little robotic and really don't hear you. Not going to work. I'm going to have to... Yeah. You want to try to call back? Give us a call back. See if you can get through. Phone number 888-659-3727. We do have lines open. Feel free to give us a call. This is our hair loss stream. That's what I'm going to call from now on. It's a hair loss live stream.
Drink deeply from the hair loss stream. Sorry, thoughts.
That was Burt Reynolds from the grave, brother. That wasn't William Shatner.
I almost wanted to do William Shatner impersonation, but I decided not to, for everyone's benefit.
It's probably pretty good if you think you can do it. What are our thoughts on drinking topical minoxidil?
Smoke.
Why don't you give me your
Or
thoughts,
thoughts on
as William Shatner?
drinking topical minoxidil?
Yeah.
My God, drinking minoxidil cannot be great. Sorry, that's is bad.
You tried.
I wasn't prepped for it. I tried.
You tried.
You saw the inflection.
I'm not.
Was there,
yeah, I'm not going to critique it.
Anyway,
Let's see this.
thank you.
Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
This is Marshall from Sacramento.
Marshall, what's happening?
Marshall, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
All right.
Good.
Hey, yeah, I just had a question about the Alma TED treatment.
Do I hang up now?
Do you guys? What's that?
I said, do I hang up on you now?
Oh, it's not great, huh?
No, here's the
Okay.
thing. I think that the technology itself, the ability to use essentially sonic waves to penetrate, to open up the stratum corneum, stratus corneum, stratum corneum, to open up the scalp.
Stratum.
Yeah,
Stratum.
corneum. And then in order to get medication or, some sort of, topical to penetrate the scalp, it's a brilliant idea. It's pretty cool. However, I don't know really if the product that comes with this device is that effective for hair loss. I had someone who did some of the original trials at the Global Hair Loss Summit 2 years ago to talk about the TED machine, and they also sponsored the summit. So I'm like, yeah, let's bring these people on. This is interesting. A lot of doctors are picking it up. I haven't seen any results. I do think for some people it could be a money grab. I think the technology is promising. Let's put it that way.
For some people, it is definitely a money grab. Like Spencer said, it is fascinating to think that sound waves can be used to act as a delivery mechanism for medication. Not just medication, but also, there are people out there talking about using it to deliver exosomes, PRP, things like that as
kind
well.
of like mesotherapy treatments without needles.
Yeah, pretty much. But can we say it doesn't work? No, because I've had some doctors tell me that they think it's fantastic, but I've not seen any sort of documentation to back that up. And I'm not saying that they're lying to me or that they're being misleading. They're just it's more in general conversation saying that they think it's got some promise and they're seeing some positive things from it, and that's great. But I've never seen anyone make some sort of exclamation online saying, "Eureka! My God, look at what this does." Quit. Put away your Finasteride. Cancel your Dutasteride subscription from Keeps or whatever. This is it. Once a month treatment or however often it is at your local clinic, and you're good.
Look, if I thought it was really going to be a tremendous benefit, I would buy one myself, and I would have a friend or a girlfriend do it, when I'm watching television every month. I would just have it in the closet. I think that's what's going to happen to a lot of doctors who invested in this eventually.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. You mentioned the product that comes with it, and I noticed Cole, Dr. Cole in Georgia, uses it.
I've heard of him.
And yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, he's saying he's getting results with it, and he sounds like he backs it.
But then,
just to know that a lot of people back it because it's a $100,000 or so investment.
Right.
Now here's the thing. Again, what I like about this, there's no real clinical trials when it comes to Alma TED, so we don't know, and they have not provided clinical trials at this point. So, at least, through the American Hair Loss Association, we cannot endorse the product. I would love to see more in-office devices and possibilities for patients that we would be able to say yeah and give it the thumbs up. Can't do it at this point. I do know some really ethical surgeons and people in the industry who believe in it and say that we're getting good results. But the issue is it's always with some combined therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if you have the money, you see value in it, I don't think it's going to hurt you. And it's very possible it could jumpstart your hair growth journey. But if there are doctors out there claiming that they're getting results either using, I think a lot of doctors are starting to say they're using their own formulas of topicals and they're mixing it with dutasteride and whatever it is, and they're claiming to see results. But I mean, what kind of results are you going to get from, say, a mesotherapy of dutasteride done once every 3 months? I don't know. There are European doctors who are making claims that they're getting good results in their clinics doing actual mesotherapy with 5-alpha reductase inhibitors. I just don't know, man. I mean, I wish I can give you a definitive answer. I don't want to say it doesn't work because we don't know if it works or it doesn't work. But right now, there's not enough clear data showing that it actually works, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think it matters then? Like, I guess, is there a difference? How do I say this? Does it matter who does the procedure and then it sounds like there's a difference too as far as what could be a difference as far as what product is applied to the scalp.
Well, there could be. But I think they selling some sort of peptide product along with it. I forgot what they're selling with it. I forgot. But, I don't even know what the reality is as far as how effective that's going to be. Most doctors are buying this device so that they could have ancillary income coming in where they don't actually have to perform the procedure. So they have non-medical personnel doing this because they're not cutting the scalp. I've actually known guys who they're not even medical assistants. They didn't even go to Bryman or whatever. And, like front desk people who are performing this procedure for doctors.
Patients are being recruited to work in the clinic to perform to operate this machine.
Yeah. Which is actually... even though the company may say that that's legal, it actually, depending on the state, it's really not.
Jeez. Okay. Yeah. Well, I hadn't checked out your website for a while. I've been a long time, listener, and I saw that and I thought, wow, that's potentially really cool if it works. So I appreciate you guys, everything that you do, and giving the honest opinion on this. Specifically.
Look, it might work, but I do think that, any reasonable physician would say, look, we have this new device, we invested in it, we want to see how well, what kind of results we get. So we're not going to charge top dollar for it, but, we'll do it for you for a little bit above our cost.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they did that, they would get a lot of people in the chair, a lot of people willing to try it, and they would do just fine. But I think some of these guys are charging $1,500 or $2,000 for a package of procedures, or in some cases, one procedure. It's not really a procedure, but,
But if you have surgery, they'll give you a discount. Or they might even include it in the package.
That's what.
But only for the next 2 weeks for a limited time.
You have to sign up for surgery this week.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you see it initially? Did you just see it on Cole's website, or did you start to see it on other people's sites? Because I know a couple of really nice, good doctors who do great surgery who are bringing it into their practice.
Yeah. So I think it popped up on my YouTube feed, and it was Dr. Cole. Because I've seen Dr. Cole, and I think that he does great work, and
the guy's got good hands.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he's changed his mind on things, with the biologics. I thought that was You know, at first he was saying no, and he's like, actually, there's something to this, and now he seems to be fully on board.
Well, you also have to understand, just like with politics, why people change their mind about things and why there's some flip flopping. It's not necessarily an evolution of their thought process. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I'm sure that's an emotional response from me as far as projecting some positivity on that.
Oh, and you know what? And I understand it. But, you know, I know physicians, very well-known FUE guys who claim to be pioneers who, when I first spoke to them about incorporating this into their practice, were like, it's never going to work. All of a sudden, they became pioneers. And they're the biggest, not only the biggest proponents, but they will fight you tooth and nail if you mention strip.
Yeah.
And before they were able to figure out a way to make this happen and put a chokehold on it and start offering scarless, in quotes, surgery, they were very against it. So, you know, you can call that enlightenment, evolving, or you could call that, wait a second, this is what the market wants. I'm going to jump on this shit.
Yeah, always look at the motivation for one changing their mind. And, you know, one good example where changing one's mind is legitimate is my own transformation into accepting FUE as a viable procedure. I've had people say online, well, it's because, you know, he started working with doctors that offer FUE.
That was way before that.
No, it was way before that.
You and I had a conversation that you actually said, all right, I'm going to look into this. I remember that. You were still skeptical.
I came to the conclusion back in 2009, I think, maybe 2010, that I could no longer justify hammering FUE and going to the mat to debate about the merits of FUE versus FUT when all these clinics that were out there at the time were getting not one or two good results every once in a while. They were consistently getting good results. And I put down my billy club, put down my baseball bat, and I said, you know what? It's legit now. It's finally got to. I do maintain that up to that point, my logic was sound, my arguments were sound, and I don't take any of that back, because at the time, FUE wasn't ready. But then it got to the point where it was. I recognized it later rather than sooner, but I recognized it and I accepted it. And that was almost 5 years before I left the clinic, Hassan Wong.
Look,
that we're not performing FUE at that point. So when you see someone changing their mind, try to figure out the motivation for that when it comes to big ticket items like this, big money items. Just saying.
Yeah. No, I agree. And as far as the biologics, I mean, I've had that, and you know, I was skeptical of that, and I. Just from personal experience, and obviously it's anecdotal, but I felt like that has at least sort of it initially improved it, and I feel like it's I've kept most of the hair I have, and maybe has slowed it down. I don't know if it's just, you know, what my hormones have done over time. But
no, I believe that the right biologics for the right candidate, for the right person, can work. I do believe that the right PRP, you know, for the right candidate, you know, a physician who really understands what they're doing and how to measure the platelets, you know, after the draw and then after the PRP is processed, and you know, has some sort of consistent understanding of what's happening in their practice. I've seen some really good results, surprisingly good results, long-term results from people who continue to do it. I've also seen results with injectable exosomes, intravenous stem cells, exosomes, and also some of the topical stuff that is now being promoted. However, not everyone's going to do well with it.
Yeah.
So I'm a believer. I just think that people have to kind of go in there with caution, realize these are expensive procedures. It may not work.
Yeah.
Hold on for a second. Okay. It may not work for everybody, but I will say that it's unlikely that most people in this industry actually evolve their thinking because they're just evolving their thinking. They're evolving their thinking based on what the market bears. A lot of guys will just stick to what they're doing until they realize no one's calling. And then all of a sudden, they're the biggest believers. And that's just the way that it is. But, so I don't know about the TED, except I was open to it at the very beginning. Again, I allowed them to sponsor be a sponsor of Global Hair Loss Summit, which introduced them to thousands of potential clients to buy their machine. I had someone who did a clinical trial, or at least had the device in their office, but she's not a hair loss specialist. She's a dermatologist. Very nice woman. She stated that she felt that it helped a lot of her patients, and they did kind of small in-office trials. I wouldn't really call it a clinical trial. I know some good doctors who have purchased the device, and now they're saying that it's helping their patients. I haven't seen it. That's it.
And I want to add into this real quick. When we're talking about stuff like this, and you're talking to whatever doctor you're interested in talking to about any of these treatments outside of surgery, and you tell them, well, Kobren and Tillman thought that there might be something to it, but they don't really have a lot of faith in it. If they start poo-pooing us because of what we're saying, just ask them about the history of every treatment that's been offered, like PRP, exosomes, and A-cell, and all these different treatments that have come around for the past 15, almost 20 years now, where doctors have been the ones that put out on their social media, this is the next big thing. What were we saying while we're sitting in these chairs? Don't believe the hype on every one of these things, because it's constantly proven to be true, decade in and decade out, that every new treatment, no matter how good it sounds, always winds up being a pile of shit, comparatively speaking. It really does.
No. You also have to understand how the device company,
Yeah.
how the medical device companies work. And, you have to look at all these things with a jaundiced eye. There's a new laser coming out. It's a fractional laser that has shown some real promise, and they have real clinical trials that I think more doctors are going to start to carry to really help to reverse the miniaturization process. And I've seen some really good results. I don't think there's any doctors in our world that are using it yet. And so I don't want to give the name out. I don't want to get people overly excited. But I think this might be an in-office treatment that could benefit people. And we know the use of these fractional lasers can do a lot in dermatology. And, they really affect the physiology of skin. And, they've been used in dermatology for a very long time. So this is the first laser that got FDA cleared for androgenic alopecia, and it's going to be certain people are going to invest in it. It's like $150,000 or maybe $185,000. So once you see them invest in it, you're going to see it being marketed very heavily.
Right.
But this particular device, I just don't know. I love the idea of it. I love the technology as far as the sonic technology opening up the scalp. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But who knows what the actual treatment does for you? I don't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But you seem like you're doing good. And look, if you're a patient of Dr. Cole's and you're having good experience with regenerative stuff, then stick with that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm happy with where I'm at. But you always think, well, maybe I could have more. And And with something that's minimally invasive, it's very attractive because there's, little to no downtime. But
well, let me tell you about minimally invasive stuff. Dermal fillers, minimally invasive alternative to surgery. Now the world is finding out it's not so minimally invasive, and they're fucking people up. Now, I don't think that's going to happen with the TED system. I just think that eventually it may just go out of fashion. These guys will make their money back from it. They'll make a profit from it for a few years, and then the next great device is going to come on the market, and the TED is going to go in the closet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I hope I'm wrong.
Just like so many robots.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong, both for the doctors who are investing in the product and also for all the patients who are having the procedure done.
And these are sound waves? Is that what they're...
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, just go to the Alma TED website, and they give a fairly good explanation of what the technology is.
Yeah. Because I had shockwave therapy as an orthopedic therapy. I wasn't sure how, so it worked very well. I thought it was, I was not.
What kind of orthopedics specifically?
Yeah, so it was a shoulder issue, a scapular issue, and I was having, and so I just had inflammation in that area. It was bad. It was, and so I think I had 3 treatments. It's gone, and it's been over a year. It's never come back.
Okay.
And I was totally surprised about that. I did not have much faith in it, but I did have faith in the physician that I was seeing. So I said, yeah, I'll try it,
Okay.
And it worked. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I actually believe in that, and I've known people have had positive outcomes, but you're dealing with, this is essentially an ultrasound device.
Mm-hmm.
So you're using, ultrasound to open up the channels, and also a pressured air to pump whatever solution they're putting on your scalp, beneath the skin into the dermis and through the epidermis into the dermis. So, there's something to it. The technology itself is really interesting, and I think it could be used for a lot of different things. I'm not sure, again, if whatever product they're using is going to help you grow hair. It's definitely going to shake up that stratum corneum. It's going to open up those bricks and allow whatever they decide to put on your scalp to penetrate your skin, for sure. So we know the technology works in that respect.
Okay.
So that's all I can say about that. I wish I could tell you, what, dude, this is the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't say it yet. Maybe I will in a year. Who knows?
Right.
Pyrolutamide. Anyway.
All right.
All right,
well,
brother.
thanks, guys.
All right. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for calling.
Sure. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
All right, you too.
You too.
888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. I hate disappointing people. And,
I hate disappointing myself. It's like you get excited about something only to be like, shit. Okay.
Well, we even write
Same
about
old.
the TED on the American Hair Loss Association on the new site as an option. We don't endorse it.
Yeah.
But we just want people to know what's available to them and what they're going to see at their doctor's office. And this was one.
And just to be
option.
clear, I don't get excited about anything before I see actual results and consistency and real impactful evidence. That was just a dramatization.
Yeah, you are. I'll tell you, you're incredible, dude. But I do think that, the use of sound waves and air pressure to kind of push whatever medication or whatever peptides or whatever they want to get into your scalp, it's pretty ingenious. So if you could
It sounds
eventually,
like we're living in the future when you talk about that. You know.
yeah. So I mean, if you could eventually kind of perform PRP that way without having to inject people,
Mm-hmm.
that would be amazing.
You can do, I don't know about PRP, but you can do exosomes without injecting. Some clinics are doing derma stamping or derma rolling and applying
Yeah.
exosomes as well.
But you're creating channels in the scalp.
There's a physical disruption, yes.
And there's trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's close though, but we'll see.
Close but no cigar. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. I got to tell you, we are all cheer, smiles and cheery for these guys. I feel, you know what? No wonder we were not getting, flooded with calls. We depress people.
Well, some shows we do.
Yeah, but I think
we're not talking about how terrible treatments are, though.
I think we
so
depress
yeah, maybe
people.
there's something to that.
Listen, guys, there's no hope. You have a 50-50 chance. If you get on medication early, you might be lucky enough to save your hair, or you won't be. So be prepared.
Okay.
You might be bald.
For the next 5 minutes, let's talk about the positive aspects of pyrolutamide and all these other treatments and how it's coming, and no one else believes it, but we do.
Okay.
Okay?
Let's make that happen.
All right.
Go ahead.
Go. No, I can't have the idea. You got to start.
I can't.
Pyrolutamide.
Yeah. I could be thumbs up. Read about this stuff on Hair Loss Cure 2020 because that is, you want to get potential treatments, future treatments, information on anything that you guys want. That is the site to follow. Hair Loss Cure 2020. He's been doing an incredible job since before 2020 when he thought that the cure would be here on 2020.
By 2020.
And that's why he decided to create that URL.
But I feel sorry. Every time I type it in, Hair Loss Cure 2020, I feel bad for him. It's like he should be migrating the server to the new domain, Hair Loss Cure 2021, and then to 2022.
Yeah.
As a cure doesn't.
He's got if he lives long enough, he's got to buy up to 2085.
At least, yeah. Hair Loss Cure 2100.
It's funny, and then there are those online who really believe that I don't want to see a cure. I don't want to see more effective treatments come out because it'll somehow eat into my income. And I've always found that to be just, it shows you how like just the low information thinkers that are out there, people who would actually believe that. If that were to happen, the amount of money that I would make would be fucking insane.
Yeah.
I mean, and just the ability to know that, I mean, even for myself, if I were able to stop painting and dealing with the early years comb over and all the shit that I deal with just to get out of the house, you don't think I want to see that?
Legit.
And still,
if the cure actually came, I would have so much fun doing other things. Like there are other things I'd love to be doing. I just don't have time because I'm always doing this stuff.
I wouldn't have to do other things. I can do the exact same thing. I can actually go on there and probably really, broadcast to a much wider audience because there's going to be so many, cutthroat people in the industry who are selling counterfeit shit. We still have to guide people to legitimate companies.
So you're saying I can't leave?
Fuck. I mean, you can leave if you want, but I can tell you that it's going to be a lot more lucrative once there actually are more effective treatments.
Yeah.
Look at all the phony botulism toxins that are being sold online. You can get this shit in Alibaba.
That's true. Yeah.
There's Metaspas here in Los Angeles who are buying. These people don't even know what they're getting injected into their skin, into their faces. I tell these people, and not that I do a show on mainstream cosmetic surgery, but people still ask me this all the time, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I did a show for a short period of time, Plastic Surgery Live. You need to see the bottle. I say the box, the insert, and the bottle of whatever's being injected into your face. Take a picture of it. Now, it's possible that that could be counterfeit too, but it's unlikely. But here in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, in West Hollywood, in Santa Monica, what are you laughing at? What I miss?
Rob Hellner says, you guys will be here in 20 years.
If I'm alive.
Jesus Christ.
If I'm alive, maybe I will be.
Could be.
But I tell people, you can't just trust somebody comes into the room with a syringe and they're going to put that in your face.
Yeah.
You got to know what that shit is.
True. That's right.
No one thinks of that. There's this girl online, I forget her name, but she's done the entire podcast circuit, and now she's become pretty well known on Instagram and her own platform.
Haktua girl?
Not her. But I don't know. I don't think she's got any work done yet. But this chick just went to a med spa for, I think, B12 injections. Is it B12? The red stuff?
B12.
Anyway,
yep.
She got contaminated solution for wherever they bought this stuff. And she's been dealing with severe flesh-eating bacteria for years. Her body is now riddled with, she almost died, and her body is now riddled with scar tissue. And all she was just going to this med spa to get some, she's like, oh, you know what? I might as well get some B12 injections. And her life has been essentially it was destroyed for a long time. She's a very strong girl. She's a pretty girl, young, but she's been sick for years. And she's kind of on the mend, but I think I saw that she had some sort of a setback not too long ago. Yeah. You have no idea what these people are injecting into your face, into your body.
Yeah.
You go to Las Vegas and get loaded, and you call one of these IV places to get like a Myers cocktail to wake you up. What are you, out of your fucking mind?
People stick anything in their bodies.
I mean,
oh my God!
Just because it comes in a bag and a nurse comes to your, to your hotel room, and it's a bunch of drunks sitting around,
and you don't know what twisted people will do just for kicks.
100%.
They'll stick into, like, if you don't see that bag being taken out of a sealed container, you don't know what's in it.
But even if you do, I mean, honestly, if you want to get something like that done, you have to go to a physician's office who you trust. Or there are some services that if they're really high end, you could have it done. You could have high dose vitamin C drips, Myers cocktails, all that stuff. It could be a benefit for sure. But to have some service that you look up online in Vegas or even here in Los Angeles, come to your house and do that stuff, you're out of your fucking mind. Bacterium grows in those bags all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's being put through your veins. I'm sure if I looked that up online, I'm sure people have died from that.
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt that a bit. 100%.
But what it does do is it certainly gives me a little insight into, I always say this, how easy it is to make money in this country. If you can't make a living in this country, I mean, people are so fucking stupid. If you can't make a living in this country, there's something wrong with you. The amount of women that I see just in my area who are walking around with essentially what looks like cement in their faces, it's astounding.
You always have that subtle nuance. When you
What?
Looks like their faces were filled from a cement truck.
Yeah. It's astounding. And the whole mantra that, these people are just, they're not going to good injectors. There's a whole business, cottage industry of injectors now, of good injectors, that they're being overfilled.
Training.
Yeah.
Injector training is a thing.
But that they're being overfilled. And no. Yeah, in some cases, that's true. But in almost all cases, long-term prospects, the prognosis for anyone who gets fillers on a regular basis is not good. Not good. You're getting your lips done all the time.
Fillers for the kids getting it at 18.
Yeah,
starting early.
The fillers will eventually migrate. They don't completely dissipate. They don't disappear like they say. They're not being, somehow removed from your body.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is they migrate to some degree, and people think, oh, you just need a touch-up. And then it just builds on, the last round. And eventually, not only do you look not normal, but there's a possibility of having like lymphatic issues, poor lymphatic draining. There's a greater possibility of having, necrotic issues, skin death issues, stuff getting into the arteries.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few doctors now who have been injecting people for years who are now saying that the trend, in quotes, is to get away from the less natural look, the filler look, and get back to cold, hard steel. That's not the trend. It's because these people realize we've been fucking people up for 20 years.
Because the patients are coming back and telling them that. That's why. And
because there's more studies now, and there's like MRIs that are out online of people who've had filler done, in different parts of their face, and they see that even if they haven't had it done for years, that their faces are essentially just filled with this, what's supposed to be an inert, naturally occurring substance, like hyaluronic acid. That's a tough word for me. I think these things have their, they have their place.
Yeah.
If someone has a significant defect, if they've been in accidents, if there's a real significant asymmetry, as long as people understand what the possible downsides are, it could be life-changing for people. If people have a certain, paralysis on one side of their face, where the muscles can atrophy, and so besides not being able to move your face, there's a significant symmetrical difference. These products can really be life-changing for people.
Yeah.
But just to have Angelina Jolie lips, you're out of your fucking mind, people.
I don't want them. Never do it.
Well,
All right.
Don't even get me started. I know you got to go, but don't even get me started on the men who are being pulled in to get this shit done to their faces.
Like the guy we were talking about earlier, Pavel Durov. Looks like he's had work done.
He may look like he has work done, but to me, it looks like he may have had actual surgery. I don't know if it looks like he's had any fillers injected into his face.
Yeah, it looks like maybe cheek implants or maybe a chin implant or something. I mean, whatever he did. I mean, he looks good.
He's a super handsome guy.
Yeah,
look,
good looking guy.
If your body can tolerate
and back to the hair issue, it looks fantastic.
Look, solid silicone implants have been around forever. They know what they're getting with, chin implants have been around since the 1950s. Different facial implants. They know what the long-term effects are. They know what the possible complications are, the possible risks of infection are. They have a pretty good track record as far as that's concerned. So, cold, hard steel, certain implants, very reasonable stuff. Anything that's being injected into your face or into your body that could possibly migrate, which it all does. I mean, even logically it never made sense to me. Just thinking about it, even before all this stuff came out. I was asked to do this live thing on Real Self years ago, and they wanted me to talk about, they were basically saying it was a liquid facelift. I'm like, first of all, there's no such thing as a liquid facelift, so I can't promote a liquid facelift. And I'm really not a fan of this whole filler craze. I'll do it, but, you know, I want people to know exactly what's being done to this woman. What's being injected, we can't call it a facelift. You know, yeah, she's being augmented, but she's not having any type of facelift. And this was like 15 years ago.
Wow.
Anyway, it's 15 minutes before the hour. We have no calls.
Wrap it up. I'm fine.
Joe's got to wrap it up.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. So we'll go. And by the way, Caroline, I saw your comment. I just want to let you know, I had an incredible relationship. To this day, I never regret being with Common Law. And to this day, she is still the co-author of my life. Now, other women in my life just have to deal with that shit. And they're not necessarily happy about it. They're all happy about it at the beginning.
Makes Thanksgiving's awkward.
They're all happy with it at the beginning. But
And birthdays. Sorry.
hey, look, life is interesting, and there are people, they think when they break up with somebody, especially when they've been with them for 20 years, that in most people when they break, it's a really ugly, fucked up situation for whatever, and they think they have to go on to the next person, and the other person is just their ex. Well, to me, I was together with this woman at an interesting, a growth point in my life, developing my career, my life, my business, with this person who helped me every step of the way. It was an integral part of it. What you guys are seeing and what I've been able to accomplish over the years, this person was an integral part of that. Couldn't have happened without this person. So I will tell you, though, speaking like this about my relationship with my ex, women love it at bars, man. They can't. They're not used to it.
See, there's all a reason for this.
But when you share respect and you're just like, I got nothing bad to say about the person, because most people talk about their exes like they're shit. I meet women and they destroy their exes.
Of course.
And I'm like, that's a bad sign. That is a bad sign.
So you're letting these women know that they can trash you and you won't speak ill of them. They're like, yes.
That, or I'm also projecting like, they start to trash their husbands. And I'm just like, I had a, almost a 20-year net gain. Best decision I ever made in my life. They're like, what?
How to throw them off their game. That's the way to do it.
Rob, you're too old for bars, brother. For some reason,
I'd like to ask you to hit that like button. Don't forget to support us. The more likes we get, the more likely to trigger the algorithm to get some more exposure, to put our show into the feeds of different people on the YouTubes. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe, because we could use the support. So don't forget that.
Absolutely, guys. And by the way, Caroline, there's no hard feelings. I just wanted to put that out there. I mean, to this day, it was still the best decision in my life to be with this person. Yeah. And maybe be a part two. Anyway, with that said, and Rob Hellner, you may be too old to go to bars. That's in your head. It's all mental. You're the old guy at the club, I bet. Till next time, be strong, God bless, and thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for any inconvenience you may have been put to prior to the programme, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if you could now leave by the exits at the rear, that'd be splendid. Thank you. Good night.